If the start of the State A Legion baseball tournament is a sign of things to come, it's going to be a wild and unpredictable week in Mitchell. Yesterday, Yankton stunned defending champion Rapid City Post 22 4-1, setting up a rematch of their Region 2A championship with Brandon Valley last week, a team they beat them by a combined score of 13-0, but in two games. This was a different story. Miles Carter with a sac fly in the first. That'll make it 2-0 Yankton. Nice slide there to get out of the way. Brandon would respond as they would add one in the bottom of the third and tie the game up in the fourth as Cole Siegfried answers them with the always thrilling sac fly, but in the postseason gets the job done. And just like that, we have a tie game. After 4 innings, Yankton would take the lead back in the sixth. Ethan Wishon up the middle. Yankton taking a 3-2 lead heading to the home half of the fifth. But that's when Brandon Valley comes alive, turning on the offense as Siegfried finds some space and pokes it through. Brandon Valley leads 4-3 going into the seventh. Last chance for Yankton. They're down to one of their final outs. Bases loaded for Michael Drotzman. He bounces it through the hole. 2-run score. And that would be the difference in the game. Yankton stuns Brandon Valley 5-4. Their tournament run continues. They are into the semifinal tomorrow. They'll get the winner of the next game between host Mitchell and Renner. And Renner would get things going right out of the gate early as Will Waschenberger finds some space up the middle and grounds home a single to bring home a run as Renner quickly goes up 1-0. And to add a statement of his own is Renner's Mason Runya. He would strike out a couple batters in the first, and the home team would have to sit on it, but Renner would strike again in the top of the fifth. DJ Stukel grounds one to the second baseman. It's going to work and get home a run, and that makes it 2-0. And looked like that was going to hold until Mitchell rallies in the sixth inning, getting a score to make it 2-1, and then Kobe Larson will tie things up with a base knock, and they're still tied right now. 2-2 in the eighth inning. We'll have an update online for that one on KDLT.com. Now, as for the elimination games this afternoon, Post 22 needed a 2-run rally in the eighth inning to keep their season alive against Watertown, but they do win 3-2, and Pierre eliminates Harrisburg 2-0. More play tomorrow. Well, as for the Minnesota Twins, they were out in Chicago and trying to win their third straight. This kind of tells you why the White Sox have had a rough year. Jorge Polanco, the pop-up, Johan Moncada, and Okada. That scores Byron Buxton, and it's tied up, but Moncada would redeem himself with a big home run. Twins go on to fall by a final of 5-1. They do trade for Miami's Sergio Romo, though, to add a little help to the bullpen. In Sioux Falls, the Canaries opening a 3-game set with a Lincoln team that came in on an 11-game losing streak. In the fourth, though, Birds were down 6-0. Burt Reynolds cuts that in half with a 3-run bomb over the scoreboard. And it's 6-3. A little bit later in the inning, the Birds load the bases. Lincoln turns to a former Canary, Spencer Herman, and he fans Brett Vertigan, and turned out that would be about as close as the Canaries would get the rest of the way. In the sixth inning, bombs away for Lincoln. Kurt Smith, look at Burt Reynolds out in the left. Yeah, he kind of took one look, but yeah, he knew that was gone. 3-run home run. All Lincoln in the series opener, 15-4. It's been quite a summer for the Sioux Falls Steel softball team with ring neck and state championships already under their belt. The Steel have been dominant at the USA Softball Northern Nationals, entering today's final day of play unbeaten. This morning they faced off with the Windy City team out of Chicago, and they get off to a great start. Kenzie Reisness makes contact, and the fielders nearly make contact too. That allows a run to score. It's 2-0 at that point after one. And then the big bat from Cheyenne Masterson. This is the first of 2 home runs, and it's a grand one, a grand slam, as they go on to win the game by a final 11-3. They'd win another game to advance to the championship in the evening, and that was against the Southeast Flyers, as we can take a look at those highlights. And they get off to a quick start in this one, down 1-0 early. Emma Osmondson will beat out the infield grounder, and nice hustle behind her to score a run. They score 6 in the first inning and would lead it 6-0, and they keep the bats going in the second. There's Michaela Muchow. She hit a home run in the first inning. And here she gets a 2-run double as they take a 9-0 lead. And they weren't done with the big bats just yet. Tegan Lindner with a drive to deep right center field. Kind of couldn't tell at first, but does get over the wall for a 3-run home run. And the Steel go on to get the victory by a final of 15-3. Congrats to them on a great championship run. Final day of the South Dakota State Long Course Swimming Championships. 411 swimmers from 20 communities converging on the Midco Aquatic Center this weekend. Great relay performances for the Sioux Falls swim team today. Girls 15 and up, 400-meter relay. That's O'Gorman's Katie Party bringing home the title in 401.74. And on the boys' side, Roosevelt grad Andrew Iverson helps them coast to victory in 344.62. Congrats to all the competitors this weekend. Though it's nearly 4,500 miles between Brookings and Spain, basketball in that country will have a South Dakota State flair. 1 month after the greatest women's basketball player in Jackrabbit history, Macy Miller, signed to play in Spain, the greatest men's player will join her as Mike Dahm signed his first professional contract to play for Obradoiro Cab in Santiago de Compostela. I don't know if I said that right, but I enjoyed saying it. SDSU's all-time leader in points, rebounds, free throws, and three-pointers is the 7th all-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I history with 3,067 points. Spent some time in the NBA Summer League and will be in the top professional league in Spain when that starts in September. And finally, one of the rookies in the spotlight for the Vikings is their new man in the middle at center, Garrett Bradbury. They're counting on the former All-American to shore up a run game that fell from 7th in the NFL in 2017 in yards per game to 30th last season at just 93 yards per game. And that'll do it for sports. We will be right back in 1 moment.